Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Military Mondays. If you and I don't know each other, I am retired Major Brenda Sanchez, and I am the co-founder of Life's Real Currency with my husband, Michael Sanchez. And we teach business owners how to stay top of mind with their clients so that they don't end up out the back door to their competition. And every single Monday morning, I bring you Military Mondays, and I like to highlight a veteran business owner or the spouse of a veteran. And today I have the pleasure of having Mary Warren on. Mary and I have known each other at least 2 years now, maybe 3, but really gotten to know each other over the last year. And she's a pretty amazing woman. So welcome to the show, Mary.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh, you're welcome. So give us a little bit of your military background. What did you do in the service? How long were you in the service?
Yeah, so I joined the Army in 1998, and I was a Patriot missile operator in the Army, which sounds really awesome. That's one of the reasons I picked it, but it really was kind of boring and, you know, I always tell people a trained monkey could have almost done what I did. But it was really a great opportunity to see things I wouldn't have seen otherwise. I was originally from Michigan, and so my first duty station was South Korea, and that was really exciting. And I even met my husband in the Army. And I spent 4 years active duty and a year in the Guard, and then we went and traveled the world while my husband stayed in the Army.
Awesome. So you're kind of like me. You just didn't do reserves. You were active duty and the spouse of an active duty. And your husband, I think, just retired, didn't he?
Yes, after almost 22 years in the Army, he finally decided to retire. Yes.
Wow. So we're going to talk from both sides today, one being in the service because you have that experience, and the other as a spouse. What kind of skills do you think you learned while you were in the service or even as a spouse that make you successful today in business?
Oh gosh, so many things. Like when I joined the Army, if you had known me before I joined, you would be like, who is that girl? Because that's not the Mary I know. I really did like a 180 in my personality, just realizing that I was a strong person and I could do things that I previously thought maybe I couldn't. So that strength and resiliency especially, I think, is something I learned hugely, especially after I got out and my husband was still in though. Because when I was in and we were both doing the same kind of things, I knew what was going on. And then as a spouse, I didn't always know what was going on. And that was really, really tough. So learning to bounce back from hardships and when you fall down or things don't go quite how you think they're going to go, that was really an invaluable lesson for me.
Awesome. So you probably heard a lot because I know I said it a lot while I was in, and my ex who was in said it a lot. Sorry, dear. If I tell you what happened today at work, I'd have to kill you.
Right.
Especially being in missiles. I'm assuming he did he do missiles also?
Yes, we actually met while we were in AIT, which means Advanced Individual Training. And that's the school where we learned how to do our Army job.
So you met each other very early on.
Yes, although we didn't really, we didn't start dating or anything at AIT. We went, almost our entire class went to South Korea for our first duty station. And that's where my husband and I started talking more and got to know each other. And then by the time we came back to the States, we were engaged.
Awesome. Sweet. So as a spouse, you talked about it being difficult. I want you to talk to the spouses that are out there right now, or maybe somebody who's engaged to a military member that is going to become a spouse. What kind of advice or tips can you give them? Because it is challenging to be the spouse of an active duty member.
Yeah, absolutely. I can actually really well speak to this because I just had a friend probably about 2 years ago now. Her husband was not a chaplain, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think. Well, like a chaplain, right? But
Okay.
in civilian world, and they were doing okay with that, and then he decided, well, maybe the army is my calling, and I need to be a chaplain in the army. And she was just so taken back. She was like, "What?" They have twin sons and a daughter that's my daughter's age. And so when I was talking to her, I said, look, you have to make the decision right now. Are you all in? Or are you not going to be? Because there's really not an in between, I think. Where military families fall apart is when one, especially the spouse that's not active duty, is not in. And that spouse is just like hating every minute of it and not supportive and just making life miserable for the whole family. So you really have to decide, are you going to be part of this military life or not? That's my best advice, really.
So let me ask you this. You got out of the service, and it's been a number of years since you got out. You were the spouse. I think, if I remember correctly from our conversations, you've had a couple of different direct sales companies that you've worked with. But what did you do as soon as you got out? Were you just, I say just, but being a mom is a full-time job in itself.
Right. Well, when I first got out, I wasn't a mom. My husband and I had been trying for several years to have a child, and it just wasn't working out. So I actually worked for the U.S. Border Patrol for a little while through the work study program with the VA while I was going to college. And that was really fun and interesting to see that side of it. I wasn't an agent or anything. I just worked as an admin for them. And then I worked for CarMax for a little while, selling the used cars there. That was actually really fun. I had a good time doing that. So I had a few different jobs after I got out. And that's something I love to talk to people that are leaving the military about, whether you're just ETSing or you're retiring. It is tough to figure out what you're going to do next. And unfortunately, the Army doesn't do a great job of preparing you for that. I mean, I saw it on the side from my husband's retirement. And when I got out, that panic sets in. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, what am I going to do?
Yeah, so that brings up a really good point to start. Don't wait until a few months before you're getting out. And don't wait till a few months before you are transferring to a new duty station to find something new if you're a spouse, to look into that. So many people get
Right.
tied up in the busy, hectic lifestyle of being in the military, and they get, I don't know about you, but I've seen it. You get to retirement and it's like you said, now what am I going to do? So
Yeah.
I highly encourage people to reach out to like Mary or myself, or find a veterans networking group and join early, join before you retire, or before you separate from the service, to help you to make that transition, because I think it's crucial.
Yes, absolutely.
So as a spouse, you traveled around and had to follow your spouse. And what was it like? You did border patrol in that, but is that why you got into direct sales? Is so that you could not have to restart a job every time, since you had kiddos at home? Because I know you have twins, right?
Yes, now we have almost 10-year-old twins. And yeah, that's exactly why I was looking into direct sales, because I just was tired of all the bouncing around from this to that, because you never know what's going to be available when you get to a new place. And especially when we went overseas to Germany, I wasn't at all sure what I was going to do over there. I didn't speak German, so well, I ended up being able to speak a little bit, but not much. So yeah, that's definitely a factor in wanting to find something that is very portable. Taking, if I could give any advice to anyone thinking of doing something like that, take it seriously from the beginning. It's a business. And
Yeah.
speaking from my own experience, I didn't do that right away, and I regret that. So that definitely take it seriously as a business. Don't say I'm trying or I'm taking a shot. No, I'm in business now.
Awesome. I love that advice. Do you have any other advice for, or I guess advice is the right word for a military spouse. I mean, looking at direct sales or doing something else. I know for me, when I got out of the service and I became, I say just, but that's so bad to say just a mom, and a stay-at-home mom, because it's such a big job, especially as a military spouse, of children. But I know that I was missing something. I needed the community when I got out, and I needed something to be in community with other adults, other women. And that's why I turned years ago. That was the first time I turned to direct sales. So, what are some pieces of advice other than treat it like a business that you would have for a military spouse that might be thinking we could use a little bit of extra income in the house?
Yeah, sure. Your story is so similar to what I went through. More because I didn't have the kids until quite a bit later after I got out. So for me, it's more when they went to school full time. I was going home crying every day because I was like, "Who am I now? What am I gonna do?" Right? It was terrible. So that's when I really started taking my business as a business. I was like, I gotta stop messing around here, and I joined networking groups. I made so many great friends in the last 3 years, almost 4 years now, I guess, just because I took that step to reach out and start to network with others. So one, if you're a previous military person or you are a spouse of a military person, you already kind of know how to network because you go to functions and you're around military units and stuff. So you already, if you're involved in the FRG at all, which family readiness group is what we called them, then you've already got some idea of what it's like to network. And so just go out, start meeting people that you wouldn't have met otherwise, and grow your circle of influence,
I
because
love
that's so important.
I was going to say, I love that you pointed that out, because so many people I talk to that are getting out of the service, they're like, I don't know how to network. I'm like, what have you been doing for the last 20 years or 12 years or whatever it's been in the service? I mean, you had to meet new commanders. You went to functions, like you said. You definitely were networking. Just wasn't called networking.
Networking.
It's just about building relationships and getting to know people and getting out and talking to new folks. So that is a skill that, believe it or not, is very strong if you are a military spouse or a former military person, and you really don't even realize it's a skill you have.
Exactly.
So, so what are you doing today? It's Perfectly Posh. What the heck is Perfectly Posh?
Well, if you have skin, then I am your girl. So, Perfectly Posh is a company that is soaps, lotions, bath bombs, anything to help you pamper yourself and the skin that you're in. But also just more environmentally conscious. Everything is paraben free, sulfate free, and we even have a product. Can I show it?
Sure.
This right here, the Here to Shea, is a soap bar that gives $1 from the purchase, goes to provide healthcare, sustainable jobs, and reliable income to women of the Shea Sisterhood in Ghana, Africa.
Oh, cool. That's
We do have
awesome.
a way to give back. And so it's just really, it's something that I got into because a friend of mine had it going on, and I started using the products. And let me tell you, my daughter loves bath bombs. I was buying so many of them. So I said, you know what, maybe I should just do this as a business. I already love the products and everything. They have everything from face masks. They have a few men's products as well that my husband really likes to keep his face good after shaving and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I've seen Perfectly Posh a couple of times. I haven't seen it recently. I know they've expanded their line, but I know they're all about protecting the environment and natural products. And the last time I looked, don't quote me on this, viewers, but the last time I looked, I thought they were extremely affordable. It wasn't like some direct sales companies that the products are highly inflated prices.
Right.
I was very impressed with the pricing when I looked at it. So I'd highly recommend reaching out to Mary and taking a look at what she has, because we all need bath soap, we all need hand soap, we all need well, here in Colorado, we need moisturizer for our
Right.
face.
Oh, especially here in El Paso. Yeah.
A little bit more up here in the desert.
Right.
um, but how can people reach you, Mary?
Oh, absolutely. They can reach out to me via Facebook or any social media. I am Ms. and as in MS, Mary, the letter K, Warren on social media. Um, and then they can always reach me via my phone also. I don't mind putting it out there. I've been networking so much, who knows who has my phone number anymore. But it's 915-503-0677.
And you'll put your link in the chat below, right? So that they can go check out
Sure.
Perfectly Posh.
Yeah, I
And
can put that there.
awesome. And then did I miss something? Is there something you wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about today?
I think the only thing I have to add is that whatever you choose to do as a spouse or a veteran, just make sure that you've taken some time to really think about what it is that you're able to bring to someone else, whether it's direct sales or another type of home-based business, or even just something that you're doing outside of the home. It just needs to be something, I think, at least what I have found for me, that really ignites you. Something that you don't wake up in the morning, so that you're not waking up in the morning, you want to wake up being like, yes, today's going to be a great day, right? Because you already, especially if you're a veteran, retiring, getting out, you don't want to get stuck doing something you really hate. No
No.
way, man. That's just a bummer, because you already spent a long time doing stuff that you didn't really like to do. For the most part, there are a few soldiers that really love it, but my husband was not one of them.
Yeah, that's awesome advice. And do you have any advice for somebody getting out, maybe in hopefully they're planning ahead in 3 to 5 years? What one piece of advice would you give them before we wrap up the call?
Definitely start looking now, and don't think that you have. So the mistake I made, the biggest mistake, was that when I was getting out, I kept feeling like they can't survive without me. Like there's no way that I can take time for me to go find what I'm going to be doing. And that's just not true. The Army is going to keep rolling. The Air Force is going to keep rolling. The Navy, the Marine, like, unfortunately, you're not the cog that's going to break the machine if you leave. So take the time for yourself. Make
Yeah,
sure you are ready. That's what really matters.
yeah, I love that, because you do get permissive leave and stuff like that toward the end. When you're getting out, you've got your terminal leave, you got permissive leave, you've got, if you're house hunting, there's lots of leave that they give you.
Mm-hmm.
Take advantage of it. There are a lot of people that don't, like you said, they're like, no, I can't, I gotta help whoever's going to take over my job, and I gotta train them, and they don't take the time that they need for themselves. So
Right.
I love
Yes,
that advice.
definitely. It's one of those things that I just kick myself all the time. I'm like, man, I wish I'd have taken that more time to do what I needed to do. And talk to your chain of command. You might be surprised how willing they are to give you extra time even before, like say there's a job fair coming up, but it's still 2 years before you're going to get out. Talk to your chain of command. Ask them if it's okay for you to go, just to explore what else is going to be out there for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on today. I really appreciate it, and look forward to doing some more networking with you. Mary and I are in a mastermind, so we get to talk pretty often.
Yay.
And I love, all I can tell you is this lady has grown so much personally and professionally in the last year since we got into the mastermind, and I am so proud of her and excited for what 2021 is going to bring for her life and her business. So thanks
Yes.
so much for being on, Mary. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Brenda. You are such an inspiration. I really appreciate you and Michael as well. It's been a
Awesome.
pleasure.
Thank you. Well, if you are a veteran or you are a spouse of a veteran and have a business, I would love to have a conversation with you. So reach out to me and connect on social media. And if you found this valuable, we'd love it if you'd share this with your network so that we can get the word out and more veteran business owners get to hear about this show so that maybe they can be interviewed. So with that, I look forward to seeing everyone next Monday on Military Mondays. Bye, everyone.